Now let's talk some volleyball. Just real quick before we go, as we said, we cover every sport on campus here. We're not going to break down every single athletic event, singular moment, like a 20-minute breakdown for every single little thing. But we do want to give people their due. We have not talked about volleyball at all to this point this year. And we do have an actual highlight because the Aggies played Texas A&M-Corpus Christi here on Labor Day, improving to 3-0. Spoiler, they were able to beat A&M-Corpus Christi. But just a quick recap on their season to this point. They opened up with a couple games in Mobile, Alabama, 3-0 win over South Alabama, 3-1 over McNeese State. And we heard from Jamie Morrison, the head coach. He came in. He wasn't even on the schedule to talk to us today. There was a gap from 1 o'clock. We talked to G. Guerreri, the soccer head coach. 1:30, we talked to Mike Elko. Nothing on the itinerary between that. And then Jamie Morrison decides 1:15, I'm going to come in. I play at 4 o'clock, but I'm going to come in at 1:15. So we'll kind of honor his wishes and give him a little love here, talk about their past trip as he gave us this little pregame introduction. As we said, beat South Alabama, beat McNeese, and then another thing that has been kind of a process for A&M. Listen, I'm never going to pretend to talk out of my you-know-what about things that I don't know about, okay? A skill that I think you have to learn in this industry, especially for what I do in like local news television. You have to be able to become like an expert beginner on a lot of topics, okay? So I'm not here to say I'm like this big volleyball savant, but I do have some insight into sort of the little things around the edges that I know are things to look for, and hopefully can make the viewing experience more helpful for you as to like, okay, how are we doing? Like the Tony Kornheiser thing, watching gymnastics. Like, I watch them go, and I don't know what I'm looking at, and I don't know if it's good, but like, I guess like she landed, right? Like I get a lot of people feel that way about sports that they're not super knee deep in. I'm still that way with gymnastics because I don't have to cover gymnastics here. But volleyball, one thing that has been a process for this team is distributing their attacking options to where this is my third year. Every year there has been one lady in particular, of course, Logan Lednicki, who has been a stud, will continue to be these last 2 years at Texas A&M. But you need more than her. It's almost like if Steph Curry is shooting 45% from three, yes, statistically, if you could just get him to shoot threes all game at that percentage, you'll be great. But if you start to just like force it and just say, well, take a three because you're going to make them at 45%, eventually he's not going to make them at 45% because everyone's going to know, right? Then he starts making it 30%. You need options to maintain that level of efficiency. Now you go back to that well as much as you can while maintaining that level of efficiency. That's kind of what it's like with volleyball, in my understanding. So Logan Lednicki, stud, right? But these last 2 years, they have not had the depth around her to kind of take the pressure off her and to be able to get consistent scoring options without going through number 9. It was a little bit better last year, and so far a little bit better this year. Early results, but a couple transfers that played really well in those 2 games. Taylor Humphrey had 9 kills in the win over South Alabama. Emily Helmuth had 13 kills. And then turn it over to the McNeese State game. Helmuth, 9 kills. Humphrey, 12 kills. So I asked Coach about that. You've got options. It's not just Logan Lednicki. And this is kind of his thoughts early on about the attacking prowess of that front line.
Yeah, I would not want to play against us is the biggest thing. Just I think we got options everywhere. And if you look at, the hitting efficiency is a product of the fact that pretty much everybody hit for high efficiency. And when that happens, it's really hard to get any beat on where the ball is going to go. And for us, it's really nice because within, a whole match, it could be different from set 1 to set 3 of like who's we're going to more. And it could be different from match to match, and that makes things really, really difficult. And then we got bigger also.
So there you go. It's not just, Humphrey and Helmuth. I believe I'm saying that right, by the way, but if I'm not, apologies. But it's not just those two. It's not just Logan Lednicki. You've got Ifena Kasapala, who was, I think, the leader in blocks last year, and she can certainly get her kills. And another young lady who really showed out against Texas A&M-Corpus Christi. Without further ado, for the first time at All in Aggies, we present your highlight recap from Aggie Land. Texas A&M taking on Texas A&M-Corpus Christi. We'll let you know how that game played out right now.
All right, battle of the A&Ms, Corpus Christi against the main campus, College Station, Bryan. Jamie Morrison, Chef Morrison in the house for this one. And early on, the first set, A&M in a little bit of trouble, but look at this, kind of a wild sequence here. We'll speed it up real quick, and that results in the block from Emily Helmuth. Aggies trailed 19-13 at one point in this first set, but they were able to get it going. Morgan Perkins comes up huge right down the middle. Aggies win that first set 26-24. Go to the second set. Look at Ellie Stinson. Had to slow this one down, going airborne for the save and then speed it up. Let's get this going. That sets up Morgan Perkins once again. Texas A&M in control in the second set. You know, we told you Taylor Humphrey had a really good weekend in Alabama. She gets a kill here, 4 for her on the night. And then later on, second to last point in the second set, Ava Underwood, ace right on the line. Aggies win that set 25-11. Helmuth with another kill. What was I telling you? The attacking options on this team. So many, so much more than we've seen in recent years. And yes, Logan Lednicki, if you were wondering, she did play quite a role. 12 kills right there. And to cap it off, Ifina Kasakpala, she had 2.5 blocks. She also had 9 kills. Aggies win that third set 25-22. They get the sweep over the Islanders.
All right, so there you have it. Texas A&M improves to 3-0 with volleyball. Coming up tomorrow, we'll talk about the Power reunion, the return of Power at Kyle Field for the runouts. We've got some soccer talk, some golf stuff to touch on. We're just getting started here. Again, still kind of getting back to 100% health-wise, but feeling a lot better today. Hope this sounded okay. I tried to adjust the microphone to where it wasn't peaking quite as often as it has starting off. But thank you so much for joining us. A much more typical All in Aggies that we hope to bring you every single day, every single week, content throughout the week. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, share. Let people know about this show, okay? We just started it. This show does not continue and sustain itself long-term without your support, okay? We and I specifically are betting on the 12th man, that there is enough interest, passion to want to know about everything going on campus, the ins and outs. We'll have the same conversations a lot of other people do, but we'll talk about topics that don't get discussed often enough, like not just the other sports, but just, you know, some of the off-the-wall storylines that we don't get to. So be sure to do all that. Ring the bell if you want subscriptions. Subscribe on your podcast feed. That's going to do it for Labor Day. All in Aggies. Ben Peck here with you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on Tuesday.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.